Hello, welcome back to my channel where I lean back into the nerdy tendencies that I feel like I'd abandoned for far too long and go some way to trying to recapture my former self. Alongside a Doctor Who marathon from the very beginning, I will also be getting geekily giddy over all the new Doctor Who stuff that's to come, as well as starting new marathons through various other properties which I love, and perhaps some that maybe I've never seen before. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, please do like, share, subscribe and clang that cloister bell. So this may have been some time coming, given that it dropped a few weeks ago, back at the beginning of November, but feel like I'm ready to talk about it now. So this is Tales of the TARDIS. I think as fans, sometimes we try to remain cool because, well, I don't know why really, but if you love this show as much as we do, then seeing photos suddenly appear on our timelines and news feeds of Jamie and Zoe back together, Maureen O'Brien and Peter Purves back in character as Vicky and Stephen for the first time since the mid-1960s, and of course Peter, Colin and Sylvester back as the Doctor, then you're going to have a reaction. And I did. I can't help it. I'm a Doctor Who fan and these are beloved characters back for the anniversary. As cool as I might try and remain, I am going to get emotional. In addition, I've been having reservations about what looks like a streamlined focus on one particular era of the show when it comes to the upcoming specials themselves. So to have this surprise show announced and to be released very soon afterwards felt comforting. This was a lovely way of hitting us with the nostalgia so many of us expect from a Doctor Who anniversary. Sure, the power of the Doctor had actually gone a long way in doing that for me with the cameos from a pretty large number of past Doctors and companions, so if this anniversary celebrations hadn't included any, I'd have been a little disappointed, but nowhere near as disappointed as I'd have been if last year's special hadn't doffed its hat to the past like it had. It was quite an exciting evening for me, the 1st of November, going through all of the new Whoniverse content on the iPlayer. The Talking Doctor Who documentary, by the way, is the real highlight. I decided to save these new scenes with all of the legacy characters as a kind of like, saved them to last as like a dessert. And it wasn't what I was expecting, so I'll get this out of the way right now. Yes, there's a tinge of disappointment, but that's on me. That's entirely on me. I expected way too much from it because of my own stupid impulses. These scenes are beautifully written, wonderfully performed, and have a pervading sense of warmth about them. Like seeing the pictures accompanying the announcement, I obviously love seeing Peter and Janet together in character again, having new scenes with Vicky, Stephen, Jamie and Zoe, and bearing witness to Colin and Sylvester getting to be their Doctors again with Nicola and Sophie. Sure, we'd not long had two lovely scenes in the TV show with Peter and Sylvester alongside Janet and Sophie, and I did love those scenes, the 7th Doctor and Ace one especially, but I will never not enjoy spending time with these characters. Being a Big Finish listener, these characters have never really gone away for me, and as much as I'm a fan of the audio medium and love it dearly, there's an extra thrill about having these characters back on the telly. So even though the Power of the Doctor did give us returns from Tegan and Ace and those lovely little scenes with their Doctors, plus cameos from many more, even though the Power of the Doctor did that, it's still lovely having these characters back. Existing as a framing device for omnibus edits of past stories, I think is in some way where my problem lies. These scenes don't end up feeling like the main attraction. I think had these scenes sort of like existed just in isolation and had their own little story to tell throughout them, then I think I would have liked them more. Which isn't to say I didn't like them, because I did. But feeling a little bit sidelined by stories that we've all seen 1,000 times before, it didn't give them the sort of like push or the deference that I thought they would feel like they had. The prestige, that's the word I'm looking for. It didn't really give them the prestige I thought that they would merit. It's a memory TARDIS and here we are. I would have liked a little bit more explanation and exploration into that concept, but you know, I know that I know 100% that a little bit of me is missing the point. Is it possible to miss the point if you know what the point is? Because I know full well why these episodes exist, and I understand completely that they don't actually need what it is I want from them. I'm just being a selfish, greedy little fan. I ended up having a great, like really great time watching these beloved characters again before finishing it with a kind of, oh. And I should really be focusing on that great time and not the oh. But because the oh was what I was left with, it's kind of hard to shake. So, let me state again, for what these are, they are really wonderful. And as such, I'm going to declare this a positive review. And any negativity that I feel is, in no small part, actually directed towards myself anyway. I'm a little bit annoyed at myself for feeling that oh, because I'm not entirely sure it's the episode's fault anyway. Which is why I wanted a bit of distance between watching them and making this video. I wanted to be fair to them. Having the Fifth Doctor and Tegan talk like this about Adric is really nice to see, and a fitting encore after the beautiful exchange they had in The Power of the Doctor. And opening with this one is wise too, because their recent reunion in the last episode of the main show works as an introduction to this concept. Finishing with the Seventh Doctor and Ace works nicely too, for the same reason. And again, offering a more modern show sensibility to classic characters pays off really well. This Doctor and Ace were always slightly better at character drama than most, given the material they were given, but this scene shows how well they can both do it. In other hands, it could be mawkish, like cloying, but I never felt like that was the case when, you know, for example, Ace called the Doctor the dad she never had. This is classic Who written as new Who, and the fact that the blend works so well together shouldn't be surprising, because after all, it's the same show. And that's what these scenes demonstrate. The older Doctor Who gets, the further away we get from 2005, and with the realisation that there's pretty much the same amount of time between Survival and Rose as there is between Partners in Crime and the Star Beast, that delineation between classic Who and new Who becomes slightly more meaningless over time. Vicky debuted in season 2 in 1965, and here she is with a new episode in 2023. It's fantastic. Of the 3 scenes which have Doctors in, my favourite though is the 6th Doctor and Perry. I like that they resisted putting Colin in his old outfit. His new look works with his older demeanour, and having him back with Perry is just great. It's not exactly news that Colin didn't get a lot of love during his time on the show, or subsequently. And for a myriad of reasons I will get into when I reach that point on the marathon, I am not the greatest fan of the 6th Doctor or his era. But this scene was beautiful, and I'm just going to say it, it contains what I think is Colin's best on-screen performance as the Doctor. It's marvellous. The Joe and Clyde scene is strong too, though the Sarah Jane adventures don't hold as much nostalgia for me as they will for some, for obvious reasons, but I did always rate Daniel Anthony as a performer, and the episodes with Katie Manning and Matt Smith are really great. And I do love Katie as Jo, so I did get a lot from this one, and really did enjoy her convincing Clyde to face up to his feelings for Rani. The ending of that one is also super sweet. But my favourites of the bunch, hands down, the Jamie and Zoe and Vicky and Stephen ones. Watching these on the 1st of November coincidentally came when I'd reached the Mind Robber on my marathon, so I actually watched the full thing for Jamie and Zoe. Don't worry purists, I also watched the full 5 episodes afterwards as well. And having Frazer Hines and Wendy Padbury back in character wasn't just comforting, it was impressive. I know that they've reprised their roles extensively at Big Finish, but, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, I don't think Wendy has acted on camera in a very long time, but you wouldn't know it. Her being back as Zoe is seamless, and that brings me on to another point about these episodes. The deference paid to these characters is something I really admire. A lot of time has obviously passed for Jamie, Zoe, Stephen and Vicky, and these feel like very organic places to find these characters in their lives. Which might be why these 2 scenes were the ones I responded most to. And if I had to pick a favourite, probably the Vicky and Stephen one. Both are incredibly strong companions in the show anyway, so to have them back together and still be every bit the same characters is a joy. Maureen O'Brien gives what I think is the strongest performance in any of these scenes, and seeing her reaction to Hartnell's chuckle is incredibly moving. So yeah, lots to love, obviously, and they definitely did what they set out to do. And any reservations that I may have actually feel churlish, because then I want them to be what they're not. I want them to be what they're not meant to be. And that's entirely down to me. So I push that voice in my head to one side and I just revel in having these characters back in newly written scenes. It will be a while before I do, but I know for a fact that I will revisit them. As ever, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this fan arguing with himself over a little bit of fluff, then you know how YouTube works. Please do give it a like and share it around. And what do you think of Tales of the TARDIS? Do they offer a fresh perspective on the stories they surround, or do you wish these scenes had just been left to stand on their own? And which is your favourite one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you back here soon for my thoughts on the Big Finish 60th anniversary audio series Once and Future. So if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button, clang the cloister bell, and I will see you soon.